Transporting oversized trucks and heavy equipment is one of the most challenging tasks in the transportation industry. It not only requires the raw power of massive machinery, but also the superior skill of the driver to manage and handle unexpected situations. These journeys are not just about moving goods. They are high-stakes battles with danger, where every mistake could lead to a catastrophic accident. In this article, we'll explore some of the most dangerous situations in heavy equipment transport, particularly the fastest fails and how dangerous idiots can turn everything into chaos. One factor that makes heavy equipment transport so unique is the flawless coordination between machines and humans. Driving oversized trucks is not just about using the engine's power. It's about executing every move with delicate precision. For instance, to move a massive excavator across narrow, winding roads, the driver must use specialized equipment like hydraulic trailers. These trailers can adjust to maintain balance and stability, allowing the truck to navigate obstacles without causing any mishaps. This is clear proof that oversized transport is not just a job. It's a fine art that requires both muscle and absolute precision. On the winding red dirt road, where the wheels easily sink into the soft mud and every turn feels like a test of courage, the heavy excavator roars like a metal beast conquering mountains. But behind its massive and growling exterior is a skilled human hand calmly controlling each rev of the engine, each slight movement of the joystick. Every rotation of the excavator is a symphony of precision between the cold machine and the delicate human touch. As the tracks grind over the jagged rocks and the body of the machine tilts precariously by just a few inches, the entire team of technicians and operators watches intently, their hearts racing, yet no one leaves their position, for they know that in those moments it is a perfect dance between steel and intellect. Moving a gigantic excavator through narrow, bumpy roads that seem barely wide enough for a motorcycle to squeeze through is a challenge not meant for the impatient. But for the experienced construction team, it is where they showcase the pinnacle of coordination. The operator, with strong hands and eyes like a compass, does not just drive, they feel every vibration of the ground beneath the metal tracks, every screech of the engine before a steep incline. The technician outside signals with their eyes, whistling, and precise gestures down to the second. As the machine turns sharply around a corner, narrowly avoiding the edge of a cliff by just a few handspans, everyone holds their breath, but there is no panic, because they trust each other, they trust the machinery, and they trust in the perfect bond between humans and technology. The road is less than 2 meters wide, with steep slopes on both sides and a sharp turn ahead that seems to bend the body. In this setting, a heavy excavator weighing several tons is slowly advancing, not recklessly, but with meticulous calculation. The operator does not look at the road like an ordinary driver. He listens to the machine, feels the vibrations from the control lever, and reads the language of the tracks on the ground. Outside, the support team keeps their eyes glued to the scene, not missing a second. They run ahead to scout the path, place tires, tighten ropes, and use walkie-talkies to issue commands with precise timing. Each time the machine overcomes an obstacle, the entire team feels as if they have just passed a brain-teasing exam. No one cheers, no one shouts, only looks of deep admiration and an obvious truth. For a steel machine to navigate harsh terrain, it requires more than just strength. It is a perfect blend of human skill, experience, and technology. Sometimes the danger comes not just from the weather, but from the negligence or distraction of the driver. A massive excavator could easily tumble into a deep ravine if the operator isn't careful. These are moments of pure tension, where one wrong move or a lapse in concentration could lead to disaster. People working in this industry must always maintain the highest levels of focus. They are constantly confronted with unexpected situations, requiring split-second decisions. A small mistake could put both the machinery and the driver in jeopardy. However, what's most critical is that it's not just about raw strength, it's also about perfect execution in every maneuver. The breathless situations and near accidents in super heavy transport do not come with sirens or warnings. They arrive in deadly silence as dozens of tons of wheels lightly skid on the damp asphalt while the wind rushes under the trailer, which is several meters long, as if wanting to topple the precarious steel mass. A bridge beam weighing over 200 tons is carefully secured, but as the convoy turns on the sloping road, all safety calculations suddenly become fragile. Behind the wheel, the driver grips the steering tightly. Sweat pours out even though the cabin is as cold as ice. The technician shouted through the radio, and the coordination team ran along the command route as if preparing for battle, everyone holding their breath for the fateful turn. Just a few centimeters off, the load could tilt, potentially crushing the entire convoy or falling into the abyss. There was a moment when the rear wheels lifted off the ground and the entire crew fell silent. But then the vehicle regained its balance and slowly continued moving forward. Those moments are unforgettable, not only because lives hung in the balance, but because it was a moment when one could see the terrifying fragility of a job that seemed to revolve around machinery, maps, and a few numbers. It was a battle between gravity and willpower, between heavy steel and nerves of steel. where every accident was just a small mistake away, or a gasp. One of the biggest challenges in transporting oversized trucks is dealing with extreme weather conditions. When navigating icy roads or snow-covered paths, drivers and equipment face slipping hazards, making it difficult to maintain traction. Moving oversized trucks under these conditions requires a perfect combination of machine power and driver precision. However, things don't always go as planned. Inexperienced drivers or those unprepared for the conditions can easily get into accidents. A heavy-duty truck can slide off the road or suffer serious mechanical failure in a split second, turning the vehicle and cargo into trash. This is where the thrill of danger quickly transforms into a nightmare. Operating an oversized, heavy-haul truck on icy and snowy roads requires precise coordination between engineering, equipment, and human expertise. Before moving, tires are equipped with specialized high-traction treads or fitted with anti-skid chains to enhance stability. Tire pressure is often reduced to increase surface contact with the slippery ground. A support vehicle typically leads ahead to assess the road surface, identifying areas prone to slippage or collapse. The main truck moves slowly, maintaining steady traction and avoiding sudden braking to prevent loss of control. Engine braking is used instead of mechanical brakes to avoid wheel lockup on icy surfaces. In weak ice sections, the support team reinforces the surface using materials such as sand or salt to improve grip. Electronic monitoring systems continuously track road temperature, tilt angles, and load distribution to ensure a safe passage. Every kilometer is a test of both mechanical integrity and operator precision. Snow and ice aren't just cold, they're silent, cunning enemies. When a super heavy-duty truck, weighing over 100 tons, begins its journey down an ice-covered road, everything familiar becomes treacherously foreign. The road is no longer a road. It's a glassy mirror of frictionless danger. Tires spin in vain while the massive trailer begins to slide sideways like a rudderless ship. Even a driver with decades of experience feels his heart pound harder when the steering wheel stops responding as it should. Air brakes? Useless here. On ice, hitting the brakes is like pulling a trigger. You don't stop, you skid. Every turn becomes a life-or-death gamble, a delicate dance of momentum, weight, and superhuman control. Freezing winds lash against the windshield. Visibility shrinks to mere meters. And on the edge of the road lie frozen ravines and snow-covered forests, silently waiting for one fatal misstep. A wrong move, one misjudged curve, one sudden stop, or a deceptively thin layer of ice can turn the entire rig into a twisted pile of steel and snow. But still, they go. Not out of recklessness, but because behind them lies a mission, a construction site waiting, a promise to deliver. They press forward with razor-sharp focus, nerves of steel, and the unshakable belief that no matter how thick the snow or how slick the ice, the road can be conquered if the human behind the wheel has the guts to face it. The world turns white, but the danger is anything but pure. Somewhere deep in the Arctic frontier, a convoy begins its journey, a superload crawling across a frozen wasteland. The cargo? A turbine housing the size of a small house. The weight? Enough to snap a frozen lake if the math is even slightly off. The terrain offers no mercy. Roads vanish beneath snowdrifts. Markers are buried. What remains is instinct, GPS signals flickering in and out like ghosts, and the echo of silence broken only by the groan of strained engines and the sharp hiss of air brakes on ice. This isn't trucking, it's survival. The sun never rises, only a dull glow through the fog. The crew runs in shifts, eyes bloodshot, breath crystallizing in the cabin air. Wind chill hits minus 40 degrees Celsius, fuel thickens. Batteries die faster than they charge. Every stop risks the engine freezing solid. Drivers keep them idling through the night, wasting fuel they might desperately need. Sleep comes in broken pieces, if at all. Then the storm hits. Whiteout. The kind where up and down blur into one. The lead escort van disappears ahead. The radio screeches. A spotter's voice cuts in. We've lost traction, rear axles sliding. Panic bubbles. There's a slope ahead, a steep one. No chains will help here. The driver checks his mirrors. The load is swinging like a pendulum, the trailer yawing with every minor course correction. Behind him, a six-wheeled support rig has jackknifed in the wind. No one's hurt, yet. But one more gust, one more miscalculation, and the entire load could topple like a titan in slow motion. But they don't turn back. Turning back is more dangerous than going forward. There are no recovery teams out here, no safety net, only grit, calculations, trust in each other, in the equipment, in the cold logic of survival under pressure. They salt the road manually. They dig their own traction paths. Sometimes they get out and walk beside the load, guiding it like an ancient beast across a frozen battlefield. 3 days later, they reach a checkpoint. No cheering, no applause, just silence. Frozen smiles and a quiet. Every time a super heavy transport crosses a snow-covered stretch, the entire team goes into high alert mode. No two snowy routes are the same. Sometimes the snow is deep, but the ground beneath is soft and unstable. One wrong judgment can leave wheels sunken with no way out. Before each trip, everything is carefully planned, from measuring ice thickness and calculating axle load distribution to pre-placing traction materials at high-risk points. Throughout the journey, onboard sensors constantly report back to the cab: temperature, grip levels, ground pressure. If a threshold is exceeded, the driver halts immediately and reassesses. The hardest part isn't crossing the worst terrain. It's knowing when to go forward and when to stop. In freezing conditions, every decision carries weight, not just for the truck, but for the entire operation behind it. However, in this industry, things don't always go according to plan. Accidents such as colliding with other vehicles or facing situations like near-miss train encounters can make everything go wrong in an instant. These moments remind us that, in heavy equipment transport, a single wrong decision can lead to irreversible consequences. When the rain starts to fall, the journey of a super heavy transport vehicle enters a completely different phase. The road becomes slippery and friction drops drastically, especially at curves and slopes where the immense load presses down with overwhelming force. Under these conditions, driving is no longer just operating machinery. It's about managing gravity, traction, torque, and momentum. Before the vehicle even moves, the technical team reevaluates the entire route, identifying areas at risk of slippage, erosion, or water pooling. The truck must maintain extremely steady speeds, using low gears to optimize traction, and avoid any sudden braking or gear shifts that could lock the wheels and cause dangerous skidding. On tight, slippery turns, the driver needs to steer early with minimal angle, maintain a stable line, and rely on throttle control instead of braking. Air brakes are supplemented with engine braking to distribute deceleration evenly across all axles. In cases where the vehicle must stop on a wet slope, the operator must anchor the load using a careful balance of throttle and gear control. Otherwise, the entire unit could roll back for hundreds of meters. Transporting oversized trucks and heavy equipment is not just about raw strength. It's a test of skill, preparation, and the ability to deal with dangerous conditions. Every trip is a battle with the elements, and a single mistake can turn everything into a disaster. Those in the industry must always be prepared to face danger and keep things running smoothly, because even a brief lapse in concentration can lead to total destruction of the vehicle and cargo.